the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, whenever you hear that theme song, then you know it is time for me to say greetings to the entire world. It's time for me to say welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. And I say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and a very pleasant night to the entire Caribbean region. And like I said, we are on the World Wide Web, and we reach and we communicate with you all around the globe in the Kittitian, Nevisian, and in particular the Caribbean diaspora. Some of you I know are in Africa. There's some of you in Europe. And there are some of you in Asia. And for certain, there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning. And I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And for the first-timers, we always have first-timers, and I thank those who continue to share that link, because whenever you do, we get first-timers. And for the first-timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday night from 8 to 10 in the p.m. And we facilitate and promote free expression on all, underline all issues of national, regional, and or international interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. You do have a forum here on Straight Talk to express yourselves freely. Because we are a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. There are those who I know like the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform. Our email address is also on your screens. And my Straight Talk family, on this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all of our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. And my name is Ian Patches Libert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And just to inform you, my first timers, and in particular my diehards, just to remind you, Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. We not about creating excitement, because we promote what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth. And we know that it creates issues. But when it comes to governance, transparency, and accountability, and the likes, we stickle for that to the very T. And this program joins us with people across our federation, people all over the world, because as we intimated earlier, we are on the World Wide Web. And we are joined with people in the diaspora around the world. Some of you we know, some we have met physically, some we have met spiritually. But whatever it is, we entertain all of your views. And we are a different people, so we entertain a diversity of views. And some will be at variance with the truth we advance. We always advance the truth. And some people, for some reason, will try to defer. And that's fine. We accept a diversity of views, like I said. But please, even though we disagree, please do not ever allow us to become disagreeable. So my Straight Talk family, again, welcome. And we normally greet our, not just our first timers, it is an imperative that we hail our Straight Talk Junior Brigade. Yes, that is a must. I must hail young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Jamal. And I haven't heard from Rue's grandmother in South Carolina for some time. I keep saying that. I trust she is okay. And we hail Jamal in Anguilla, Travis and Trevon. Hope you're enjoying your vacation. My grandson Neymar. I will be kicked out if I don't hail him. Saraya, Elizabeth, and that special lady in St. Louis. I don't know if I did extend a happy wedding anniversary to the Queen in Texas. If I did not, forgive me, but I trust that your anniversary went well and you'll have many, many more anniversaries. We normally start with our observations. That's when we normally present, we reflect on issues that are happening around us. We ask a few questions, we provide some clarification, and we establish what we have learned as a people, because it's all a learning process here on Straight Talk. And after our observations and review, we will move right into our thesis, which I have titled tonight, The Great Betrayal. 5 reasons why St. Kitts and Nevis is broke. And yes, our country is broke. But our first observation, we go across the waters, our neighbors in Antigua and Barbuda. And Prime Minister Gaston Brown is still making the headlines for a comment he made. In fact, he publicly threatened an unnamed Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court judge. And I love Gazi Dread, but he sometimes gets over the top. Don't know if that power is going to your head, Gazi. But he threatened an unnamed judge with deportation and naming him or her a persona non grata. And this declaration he threatened sometime last week. And in the process, he was demanding harsher sentences for gun crimes. But there's a separation of powers, we know. So what was Gazi Dread thinking about? And regional and international bodies have condemned his remarks as a direct violation of judicial independence, which Brown subsequently dismissed. And he warned this unidentified sitting judge in Antigua and Barbuda to follow the parliament's lead on longer prison terms or leave the country voluntarily or face deportation. But no parliament can instruct any judge, my Straight Talk family. But this is what Gaston Brown said.
And we want to say that we are interfering in the judiciary? No, we're trying to protect our country. So this particular judge, who has a propensity to give criminals a break, brother man, if you can't follow the lead of the parliament to give longer sentences, leave our country voluntarily, otherwise they're going to deport you, make you persona non grata. You know who you are. It's the Prime Minister of the country saying this.
Imagine that. You heard it for yourselves. But rejections and retaliation has come from all quarters. The Antigua and Barbuda Bar Association, the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, demanded a full retraction and public apology. But Brown, if you know Gaston Brown, dismissed the backlash on social media. As I said, there was regional condemnation, even from the heads of judiciary of the Eastern Caribbean and regional bar associations, who all issued strong statements denouncing the comments as a dangerous breach of the separation of powers. That's correct. But, my Straight Talk family, while Gazi Dread refused to retract his statement, his government later clarified or attempted to clarify through foreign ministry channels that no official directive or deportation actions against any judicial officers or officer are planned or are on the way. Our second observation, we go down to the Spice Isle of Grenada, and it's all about energy, my straight dog family. Everybody is talking about energy finds. We heard Trinidad and Tobago. But Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell recently announced that Grenada lawfully terminated its long-standing production sharing agreement and development license with Global Petroleum Group, GPG, and stated that GPG held offshore acreage for 18 years without achieving commercial production or verifying the multi-million-dollar investment claims. So what? The contract has been cancelled. The government of Grenada has terminated the development license and production sharing agreement as of August the 1st, 2026, following that 18-year delay without commercial input. Prime Minister Mitchell rejected GPG's assertions of massive investments, noting that the company failed to submit mandatory monthly expenditure reports to substantiate the figures. Well, GPG is contesting the termination and claiming the government bypassed dispute resolution rules. But recall that while attending an energy conference in Suriname, Michel made this announcement, my straight dog family.
Grenada is open for business, and we intend to become part of the next great hydrocarbon story in the Caribbean. Our advantages are real. We have a strategic location, a highly prospective offshore basin, and a government with the will to act. Beneath our waters lies the Tobago Trough, roughly 28,500 square kilometers of largely unexplored acreage with geology that points to immense promise. We are preparing to open that promise to the world. In the second quarter of 2027, we will launch a selective offshore licensing round. And so we are inviting all of you in this room here who are credible, capable, world-class partners to partner with us. We are already doing some of the work that will make your decisions easier. We are assembling the seismic data and the technical foundation that serious investors will require. This is not a leap of faith. This is not a leap of hope. It is a product of rigorous work.
So yes, my straight dog family, Grenada is still in the game, finding its own energy supplies. And we here in St. Kitts and Nevis are no different. As I move to my third observation, we move across the Narrows to Mark Brantley's latest attempt to rewrite the history of geothermal development in St. Kitts and Nevis. And his attempt is not merely politically opportunistic, it is economically myopic, short-sighted, and intellectually indefensible. And for full disclosure, my straight dog family, I have served in the federal cabinet with Mark Anthony Graham Brantley for 5 years, and he served as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Civil Aviation. I served, if I can recall, as Minister of Public Infrastructure, Posts, Urban Development, and Transport. And I always remember Mark Brantley, no matter what he says now, he always boasted about his academics. He's the brightest bulb in the room. And a few months ago, he boasted as well that nobody can outsmart him. How many of us remember this, my Straight Talk family?
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
Nobody could ever outsmart Mark Brantley. But give it up to the snake, as many call him, for his what I call academic brilliance. But if you ask me, I will quite frankly respond that Mark Anthony Graham Brantley is functionally dunce. He has to be functionally dunce if for almost 10 years he cannot finish a wing on the Alexandria Hospital. He cannot put a pavilion on the Mondo track. And the list goes on. But like I said, Mark Brantley is academically brilliant, but he is functionally dunce. But the argument he has advanced as it relates to geothermal just last night, the argument is that when I was federal minister during the Team Unity administration, I signed a memorandum of understanding relative to development of geothermal on St. Kitts. And for that, I was somehow attempting to undermine, or the federal government rather, and including myself, of which he was a part, was attempting to undermine geothermal development on Nevis. But that argument, my Straight Talk family, on its own would collapse easily under the slightest examination. Because St. Kitts and Nevis are both volcanic islands. The geothermal potential of both islands is a national consequence of their volcanic geology. The discovery or development of a geothermal resource on one island does not extinguish the resource on the other island. Quite the opposite. Because developing both resources could strengthen the Federation's energy security, reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels, and create a larger and more resilient renewable energy market. But let's just apply Mark Brantley's logic for a moment to another hypothetical situation. Suppose, my Straight Talk family, tomorrow, oil and natural gas were discovered offshore in Nevis. Then sometime later, the same oil and natural gas were discovered offshore in St. Kitts. Would any sensible government, would any sensible administration say Nevis discovered oil and gas first, therefore St. Kitts must not develop the oil and gas it's found after. Hell no. That would be economic lunacy. So the same principle applies to geothermal energy. Resources do not become the exclusive property of the first island on which it is identified. The responsible approach is to develop each resource according to its feasibility, capacity, cost, and market potential. And conveniently, and or otherwise, Mark Brantley never mentioned that his premier, Vance Winkworth Emery of blessed memory, was part of that very federal government he accused of undermining geothermal in Nevis. Yes, Vance Winkworth Emery was a part of that government. But that is precisely where the pragmatic wisdom of former Premier Vance Emery always stood in stark contrast to Brantley's narrow political argument. Vance Winkworth Emery understood that geothermal development on Nevis and geothermal development on St. Kitts did not have to be competitors. They could complement each other. And those were the words of Vance Winkworth Emery himself. He said that, my Straight Dog family. This is what Vance Emery said. They could complement each other, my Straight Dog family. Look at it on your monitors. Read it for yourselves, my Straight Dog family. And you will see. You will see what Vance Emery had to say about geothermal on Nevis. That's what Vance Emery had to say. And this is a report from the NIA in Nevis. Read it for yourselves. My Straight Dog family, let's read it together. NIA, Charlestown, Nevis. I'm on your right hand to the top there. Dated September 25, 2015. Premier of Nevis and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Vance Emery, says the development of the island's geothermal resource is still very current and progressing steadily. Mr. Emery gave that assurance when he delivered the feature address at the 9th consultation on the economy hosted by the Nevis Island Administration through its Ministry of Finance on September 24, 2015. It was held at the Nevis Performing Arts Center under the theme, Framing the New Economy, Inspiring Human Progress and Economic Resilience. And hear this. He said, the recent memorandum of understanding between St. Kitts and a French company to explore energy in St. Kitts did not, underline that, did not mean that the move would be detrimental to Nevis, as the island is 2 years ahead in terms of exploration. It continues, however, Mr. Emery stated that the explorations in St. Kitts would instead be a complementary development and both would be able to provide a larger resource to a larger demand marketplace. What else would you say? And that's coming from his premier, who was part of the cabinet, part of the federal government that signed that MOU. But my Straight Talk family, That is what nation building looks like. Instead of asking, I'm going to leave that on your screen so you can absorb it and read it. But instead of asking, which island gets the resource first, a national leader should be asking, how do we develop both resources to benefit the entire federation? How do we build generation capacity? How do we connect markets? How do we reduce the cost of electricity? How do we attract investment? How do we create energy independence? How do we turn the geological blessings of these two volcanic islands into a national economic advantage? Those are the questions serious leaders must ask. But Brantley appears determined to turn geothermal energy into another episode in the tired politics of insularity, the tired politics of St. Kitts versus Nevis. That is not statesmanship, Brantley. Get out of that mode. It is short-sighted. Island politics masquerading as economic nationalism. And there is something particularly troubling about attempting to manufacture a political controversy over an MOU signed years ago, rather than confronting the substantive questions surrounding the long-delayed development of geothermal energy on Nevis. With all these legacy issues, the people of Nevis deserve answers, not historical revisionism, is what I call it. They deserve to know why, after years of promises, geothermal development remains unfinished. They deserve transparency concerning the projected costs, the financing arrangements, the development timetable, and the commercial viability of the project. And the people of Nevis deserve leadership focused on delivering affordable, reliable energy rather than manufacturing political enemies. That's how you live. You manufacture political enemies. Perhaps, too, the public is entitled to ask whether this fixation on an old MOU is being used as a convenient political distraction from some uncomfortable questions now surrounding the proposed Destiny development, including questions about land sales, ownership, representation, and the reported role of the Premier's wife, your wife, Mark Brantley, as the sole real estate agent involved in selling the 2,600-acre development. And that's what you're trying to do. Is that what you're trying to do? Create a distraction? We won't accept no distractions, Mark.
So, Premier, you said in a, I don't know if it was a press conference or somewhere, you said that your wife was the person who was looking lands and either buying or selling to Destiny. Can you tell us if she's in that same position as of today? Can you tell us if there has been any has you picked up any sales on any lands over in the south recently? And has anybody pulled back each other? Can you tell us that? Thanks.
Yeah, the only aspect of that caller that I could answer is to say that my wife was hired by Destiny some time ago to contact owners of lands in the area to determine whether or not they'll be minded to sell their lands. Some have agreed to sell, some have said they will not sell, some have negotiated, and I believe that that process is still ongoing. But I can confirm that my wife is working on that project as a realtor. She was approached by them and she is assisting them in reaching out to potential sellers, to owners of lands, and trying to determine whether or not they're minded to sell. I think that was the position from day one, and that continues to be the position.
So we are not going to accept any distractions, Mark Brantley. Those matters should be answered on their merits. Nothing should be allowed to distract the people from demanding transparency, wherever public policy, public resources, and private interests intersect. But let us be absolutely clear. Geothermal energy belongs to the future of the Federation, not to the political ego of any individual leader. Nevis doesn't have to lose for St. Kitts to win, and St. Kitts doesn't have to lose for Nevis to win. The Federation can develop geothermal resources on both islands. That is a sensible position. That is the economically rational position. And that is the position of leaders who understand that the resources beneath our volcanic islands are not political trophies. They are national assets. Brantley should stop trying to turn every issue into a Nevis versus St. Kitts confrontation and start thinking like a national leader. That's all you have done all these years. St. Kitts versus Nevis. Even as opposition leader, St. Kitts versus Nevis. Come on. Because when politics becomes so narrow, so insular, that developing a resource on one island is portrayed as an attack on the other. The problem is no longer the geothermal resource. The problem is the poverty of political imagination. Yes, Mark Brantley, it's not about St. Kitts versus Nevis. But those are my observations in review for tonight. Perhaps I can carry on with that topic for the rest of the program. But I'll leave it, the rest, for some other time. And I'll move right into my thesis for tonight, which I have titled, as I said, The Great Betrayal. 5 reasons why St. Kitts Nevis is broke. My fellow citizens, brothers and sisters, comrades, my Straight Dog family, and the proud people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I have come before you tonight with no anger in my heart, but with a deep, profound sense of alarm for the future of our great federation. We are standing at the critical crossroads. I've said this so often. And the truth can no longer be whispered in the shadows. It must be shouted from all corners of the Federation. Look around you, my people. Look at the state of our country. Yet these political leaders in office stand on their high laurels, dressed in their expensive suits, name brand suits, and tell us that everything is fine. But your pockets don't lie. Your empty water pipes don't lie. Your grocery bills don't lie. So tonight, let us strip away the propaganda. And I'm going to give you the 5 raw, factual, and damning reasons why this reckless administration has left St. Kitts and Nevis broke. First, my Straight Dog family, look at the absolute collapse of our citizenship by investment program. Even Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, now feeling the pinch, has said this.
EBI as we know it is dead. I really do regret saying that, but that is my conclusion. TBI as we know it is dead. I really do regret saying that, but that is my conclusion.
Yes, it's dead. He fought for his fair share before he held on to what he could have got in terms of 25% of the revenue. He tried to partition, taking an economic classification of non-tax revenues. But now he got his non-tax revenue at 25%. He don't even get as much as he received under Timothy Harris and Team Unity. For years, my Straight Dog family, the CBI was the engine of our economy. For years. In 2022, my Straight Dog family, in 2022, it brought in a massive $699 million. That's on your screen there. Look at citizenship by investment. On the line there in red. The actuals for 2022, $669 million. My Straight Dog family. By 2023, under their watch, under the watch of Terrence Michael Drew and his cabinet, it was still generating $620 million, accounting for over 20% of our entire GDP. It's there on your screens, my Straight Dog family. We always provide you the evidence. And we have provided the evidence and we have put it on your screens. $620 million. The exact figure, in fact, $620,754,504. Citizenship by investment, non-tax revenue, fees. But what did this administration do, my Straight Dog family? What did this administration do is the question we ask ourselves. Through pure incompetence, terrible diplomacy, and rushed, short-sighted reforms that drove the program straight off a cliff. In 2024, revenues plummeted by a staggering 60%, crashing down to just over $200 million. $200 million, my Straight Dog family. See what Nevis gets? But by 2025, it withered away to a pathetic 5% of GDP. They took the golden goose, chopped off its head, and left the taxpayers to suffer the consequences. Although the financial secretary would like to think otherwise, my Straight Dog family, Pogson has to be in a completely, entirely different world because he would like us to believe otherwise, my Straight Dog family. Because Pogson said this to us. Believe it or not, this is what the financial secretary had to say to the nation just sometime last week, my Straight Dog family. This is what the financial secretary told us as a country.
Well, I want to be real. Given the geopolitical situation, given what's being said about CBI across the entire region, as you would have heard most recently, the EU is saying to the governments of the Eastern Caribbean that by 2028 they should be out of the citizenship by investment program. Now, when I go back and I look at several of our budgets over the years, our budget was heavily anchored on CBI. Having taken office as FS, acting FS up to the last budget, and was the lead on preparing the 2026 budget. The previous year budget in particular, about 49% of the budget, the revenue side of the budget, was based on CBI. And I would have said to the Honorable Cabinet, look, we cannot be anchoring the budget on something we have no direct control over. And so for the 2026 budget, we moved from 49% down to 28%. And so while we are behind in terms of CBI revenue performance to date, the economy continues to float and operate well, all because we have not anchored government ability to operate solely on CBI.
And my Street Dog family, we already told you about Parkinson's comments. But the financial strain of St. Kitts and Nevis is deeply tied to its two most critical domestic economic pillars for years: the CBI, the SIDF, and the St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank. While both entities were designed to build the nation's wealth, they have instead been heavily exposed to political mismanagement, non-performing legacy loans, and staggering depletion of capital. Secondly, look at the reckless, unexecuted vanity spending that began the moment the Terence Michael Drew administration took office in 2022. The fiscal trajectory under this administration faced immediate scrutiny following its ascent to power in 2022. Critics pointed to early multi-million dollar capital allocations as examples of poor execution and fiscal mismanagement. Remember this, my Straight Dog family.
We have sent the fire truck, we have sent the water truck. We continue to send the fire truck, we continue to send the water truck. We have signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea of how we can help with the storage receptacles that we're going to launch.
And remember, my Straight Dog family, a $5.8 million allocation intended, according to him, to address the island's chronic water scarcity through new storage tanks became a major point of contention, with critics arguing the project failed to deliver sustainable infrastructure. Remember, my Straight Dog family, and you can walk around the villages right now, and what you will see these tanks not even standing. You see them thrown around in yards, my Straight Dog family. It's thrown around in yards. Then we went to the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum, my Straight Dog family. Remember that museum? Terence Michael Drew spent almost $8 million on this project, according to him, dedicated to the legacy of Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. And he was highly criticized by his own people, of course by political opponents, as a poorly executed vanity project that diverted funds away from more pressing economic needs. This was just a way to put funds into the pockets, my straight dog family, of his cronies. That's what he did. Put money into the pocket of his cronies, my straight dog family. No procurement. No procurement process whatsoever, my straight dog family. And then Garth Lucifer Wilkin, the Attorney General, did not pick his teeth, my straight dog family. Did not utter one word. He became silent after beating his chest. After beating his chest in the parliament, my straight dog family, about procurement. Garth Lucifer Wilkin said not a word about this criminal act according to his own standards.
Government is spending money. It's known openly that it's getting value for money. Because they have some people who charge $5 for a service, and they have some people that charge $2,000 for the same service. Let us see what the market says is the value for this service, and let us decide. Because at the end of the day, we're not spending our money. When you're dealing with the people's money, all the VAT we pay, all the property tax we pay, you have to be responsible. It's not your own money. And that is why the Procurement Act is there. Within the Act itself, it is a crime to breach the Act. It's a crime to enter into a contract without the procurement process being completed.
So Drew is a criminal. Has to be, based on the standards outlined by the Attorney General. But he remained silent after beating his chest and stating that it is a crime to spend the people's money without the procurement process being completed. When people are struggling, a responsible government spends money wisely. Not this administration, not this one. They blew $5.8 million in a water tank initiative that was so poorly executed. It left our taps just as dry as though they were before. They turned around and wasted $4 million, or rather $8 million, on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum, a vanity project that did absolutely nothing to put food on your table or to create real lasting jobs. Nearly $10 million of your hard-earned money vanished in thin air with zero accountability and zero execution. And thirdly, let us talk about the multi-million-dollar betrayal at Christopher Harbour. The Christopher Harbour financial fallout, we call it. Few projects embody the gap between mega resort promises and financial reality like Christopher Harbour. Originally marketed as a premier luxury destination that would transform the Southeast Peninsula and catalyze billions of dollars in economic activity. But that venture failed to achieve its lofty revenue projections. Instead of generating the rumored billions in long-term windfalls, the project became a heavy financial drain on the Federation's public and semi-public institutions. An SIDF loan, my straight dog family. An SIDF loan is what they got. Yes, borrowed money from the SIDF. Yes, they did, my straight dog family. They borrowed money from the SIDF. And we always bring you the evidence. The SIDF loan, my straight dog family, was signed by none other than Terence Crosman. We'll tell you some more about that. Here's alone on your screens. But on the line, read in the third paragraph, $16 million. And you see a loan issued to the SIDF. $60 million from the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, the SIDF funds, originally meant to transition the country away from sugar production. And then my Straight Talk family. Then, the big one has to do now with the National Bank. A National Bank loan, yes. Another $16 million, my Straight Talk family, from the National Bank. The St. Kitts, Nevis, and Grillock National Bank. Yes. This loan was secured by 433 acres of land. My Straight Talk family. 433 acres of land. The information is there, my Straight Talk family. This loan. And when the project stalled, these multi-million-dollar debts were left unpaid by Christopher Harbour and its executive director, Buddy Darby. And this forced the state-backed entities to absorb the losses directly, my Straight Talk family, directly tying up domestic capital and adding additional pressure to the banking system. This is what happened with the SIDF and Christopher Harbour, my Straight Talk family. This is what happened to the SIDF. And you may not believe it, but this demand letter was written to Buddy Darby, demanding the $16 million, my Straight Talk family. But we were promised paradise. We were promised a premier luxury destination that would generate $17 billion. That's what they promised. They promised 17 billion US dollars would be generated. And again, we always provide the evidence. This is what they said. For example, development of the resort is projected to provide St. Kitts with total tax and economic benefits of over US $17 billion over the next approximately 20 years. That period has gone, my Straight Talk family. Gone. But he said they owed us or owes us money. But where's the money? It was a phantom promise. Instead of bringing money into our country, Christopher Harbour became a financial vampire, sucking the lifeblood out of our public funds. They walked into the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, the fund meant to secure the future of our people, and borrowed $16 million. Then they walked into a national bank and took another $16 million. And guess what? They never repaid a single cent. Never repaid 1 cent, my Straight Talk family. 32 million US dollars of public capital completely frozen and lost in an incomplete luxury playground for the ultra-rich while you struggle to pay your monthly electricity bills. And my Straight Talk family, who was behind all of this? A man called Buddy Darby. And who is Buddy Darby, my Straight Dog family? Who is Buddy Darby, you may ask? And you have a right to ask, who is Buddy Darby? And the government ought to tell us what has happened to our monies. Where has the $32 million gone, my Straight Dog family? Where has that money gone? Please tell us, Mr. Jew. Please tell us, we ask you. $32 million gone in the wind. Could you imagine that, my Straight Dog family? 32 million just gone like that. Gone, my Straight Dog family. When will we ever get that money? When will we ever get that money? Here's the man called Buddy Darby. Who is Charles Darby? That's the question we ask. We want answers. We need answers from somebody. Somebody please answer us as a people. Where is Buddy Darby? Net worth, he says $100 million. But look at the underline. Creator of Christopher Harbour, Darby further enriched his portfolio by developing Christopher Harbour in St. Kitts, featuring a super yacht marina, a private beach club, and a championship golf course. What propaganda! What propaganda coming from this great Buddy Darby. But my Straight Dog family, we have to be careful with these people who we claim invest in us. But my Straight Dog family, as I said, the Christopher Harbour should have injected $17 billion. Instead, the SIDF injected over $16 million, 43 million EC dollars, directly into the Christopher Harbour development. Another $6 million when the mega resort project stalled. But backed by local CBI and the National Bank without full repayment, I showed you the demand letter to Buddy Darby. But fourth, criminal action filed against the National Bank was ignored by the DPP, Adlai Smith. But the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank is a public limited company, but the federal government is its majority shareholder. And because of the close connection the bank has frequently used to backstop risky state-supported initiatives and public debt. My Straight Dog family, the IMF and recent national or financial briefs highlight that the local banking sector remains vulnerable to large concentrated non-performance loans. Christopher Harbour alone walked away with an additional $16 million, a primary loan, as I said, from the bank, plus another $6 million US for its marina. But while some interest was initially paid, the principal payments lagged heavily, causing the overall outstanding liability to balloon on the bank's balance sheet. And don't forget the land for debt swap. Still on the bank books. But my Straight Dog family, this only means that the National Bank is sitting on millions in illiquid real estate, limiting its ability to absorb sudden corporate loan defaults. And my straight talk family, we have to correct this bad situation. The fifth and final catastrophic result of this financial madness is our exploding national deficit, my straight talk family. Our exploding national deficit. And we can read from our monitors, my straight talk family. We can read from our monitors what the IMF has said. And this is being put together by Straight Talk, because between 2022 and 2024, Terrence Michael Drew disclosed the exact dollar counts collected from the CBI for 2025 and 2026. The IMF tracks those revenues as a percentage of the nation's GDP. We mentioned 22 and 23, 669 million and 620 million respectively. That dropped to 218 million in 2024. And my straight talk family, look at the GDP share projections for 2025 to 2026. Because fully audited dollar totals for the most recent periods are still being processed by the ministry, the IMF measures the ongoing financial impact through its annual country reports. 2025, 5% of GDP. That's the CBI inflows. For 2026, projections indicate the program will stabilize around 5% of GDP, as the government has actively restructured the program according to the IMF on the new Investment, Immigration or Migration Agency. But that does not tell the story, because the EU has said what it has said. My straight talk family, in conclusion, we must state that, or ask the question, or we must state, first of all, simply, the most glaring symptoms of a deeper crisis of governance, accountability, fiscal discipline, and political judgment. But where do we go from here? That is the question every citizen must now be asking. But in conclusion, my straight talk family, may I state, finally, that this is not about political slogans. The truth is, as I said before, St. Kitts and Nevis is now at the crossroads. The old model is under pressure. We therefore need more than political slogans. We need transparency. We need accountability. We need fiscal discipline. We need sustainable economic diversification. Above all, we need the leadership prepared to tell the people the truth, even when the truth is politically inconvenient. Because if CBI is dead, as Brantley says, and we know, then the reckoning is not tomorrow. The reckoning is today. It's here. And if we refuse to confront the reasons that brought us to this point, we will continue to chase one temporary solution after another, while the Federation's foundation become increasingly unstable. My straight talk family, this is not merely about who is in office. It is about whether the Federation can recover. its economic independence, restore public trust, and reclaim control of its own destiny. The questions are now unavoidable. The answers cannot be postponed. And the people deserve to know exactly how we got here. This great betrayal of five reasons why St. Kitts is broke. That's my story tonight, my straight up family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. I tarried a little longer tonight. I wanted to deal with the geothermal issue and this particular issue. So I'll open the lines, and I anticipate that you will respect others. Of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned, and in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:14, I go to the lines and say good night to our first caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liver.
Good night, my dear. And how are you?
That was how the dishonesty and betrayal started.
And betrayal started, yes?
Not in big lies, but in small secrets.
Not in big lies. But it's in small secrets.
I repeat, that was how dishonesty and betrayal started. Not in big lies, but in small secrets. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. That's my quotationist from across the Narrows, my Street Talk family. Always welcome your thought-provoking quotations every program. And tonight, no difference whatsoever. That was how dishonesty and betrayal started. Not in big lies, but in small secrets. My Straight Talk family, it's 9:15 hour. We've just opened our lines as we first looked at our thesis, the great betrayal. 5 reasons why the country's broke. Do you believe the country's broke? I must ask you that question. That's my view. I don't know what is your view. Do you believe the country is broke? My Straight Talk family, I'll take some emails as I await your calls. I would really like to know, read this email, the serious degree the PAM candidates are taking this impending election. And I would really like to know if the former leader of PAM will be contesting the East Barcia seat. The reason why I ask this question is because of what I observed at Sylvine's funeral last Friday. One of my friends touched me overtly and hysterically said, watch over there. When I looked, it was Erasmus and Shani greeting and embracing each other with broad, happy smiles on their faces. Well, as a PAM supporter, I took umbrage with that, for I never received such greetings from Shani. We all know who this Erasmus is. This man is very abhorrent to the PAM party and PAM supporters. He has written many egregious posts on Facebook about PAM and still does, under several fictitious names. You need to be more guarded with your actions, Shani, if you are serious in this political battle. Erasmus is no friend to any PAM supporter. He will pose as a fake friend and well disguised to extract news from you for his unsavory writings. The kind of friendship This kind of friendship you had with the self-confessed slow student was unbearable and caused many PAM not to vote, and those that voted for Jackie of the PLP. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Patches, good evening.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful. You have your equipment on in the back?
Okay, let me tell. I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry. Patches, you asked the question if we think the government is broke.
Yes.
And I will take the liberty to say, yes, I believe. And I will give the reason why I said, yes, I believe. Allow me about 3 minutes, Patches.
Go ahead.
And let me say who I am. My name is Austin Coker. Patches, last year, the Ministry of Sustainable Development, along with tourism, kept a meeting down at Wingfield Road. And they were speaking about derelict vehicles and how the road was kept. And I must be honest, Patches, it was kept a little bit untidy because my two sons, Astawaki Coker and Asnell, was a part of that wrongdoing. The ministry told us that they are going to sell us a piece of land so that we can move these vehicles. And again, we applaud them, we appreciate it. Patches, we went to a meeting with them. And out of that meeting, and I have the document inside my hand here, Patches, they sent us a notice telling us that lot number 166 is allocated to my two sons, whose name I just mentioned. And they asked us to get a survey and everything, and they will give us what you call the cost. After doing that, Patches, they gave us a cost of $153 for 21,000 square feet, 949. Patches, they also, in their condition, they also said to us, we have to pay 25% within a certain time. And they gave us 7 years to pay off for that land. Remember I said last year that was done. Patches, when they gave us the land, they were a little back and forth between myself because it is out in the public on video that Mr. Reg Francis was saying the land is his and the land is his and what. That Wilkin came on the air and he said Reggie owned the land down there. It was a crown land. The ministry, permanent secretary, which is what's the name here, Chesdor, also stated it is crown land. They went as far as to say he didn't pay no money. They ain't gonna get into that. That's the problem. But Patches, just recently, I recognized a twist in the whole story. I went to the treasury yesterday, Patches, and I paid a payment on the land. Still paying, we are in front. We haven't forfeited the agreement. We have not. But Patches, while I'm driving, going to Sandy Point where I have an ex-business, I recognize boats are being packed back on the same piece of land. So I drove up there and I met a gentleman who claimed that he is Reg's son. And while speaking with him, he informed me that the permanent secretary has given them the rights back to that piece of land. No one from the ministry, Patches, let me make it clear, has ever written to my sons them, called them into a meeting, and to say, okay, this is what we are about to do. This is what we intend to do.
But did you say that?
So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I will let you speak, but you said that you believe the government is broke, and you're gonna give it the reason. Is this one of the reasons you're saying?
Yeah, because
you get to the point.
yes, but because if they take my money and me not gonna land, I have always to say I believe it broke.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. Okay, I'm trying to understand it now. I understand it now, my brother. Yeah, go ahead. But is it $153 or $153,000?
$153,000.
Okay, you said $153. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry if I say. I'm sorry if I said $153. I'm sorry. $153,000.
Are you saying you don't have the land?
Well, at this moment, the land is reoccupied by Mr. Reginald Francis. And when I spoke to his son, I was told that the land was turned over to them. I'm trying to understand where or how this happened because we have not forfeited our contract.
Yeah, but couldn't it be they gave you the wrong land? Of course, I'll give you land some other place because the government has a way of giving people land or selling land twice and three times, you know. And I know the permanent secretary. I don't know how competent she is. I worked with her briefly, but that's some years ago, so she may have improved anyway.
Well, Patches, I can't see.
Well, have you gone to the ministry though?
Patches, I've tried to reach out. I learned that she's off island.
Okay.
But wherever I'm calling, I'm not getting any response.
Okay.
But I can say this to you. I won't call the gentleman's name. A journalist told me that he knew Reggie had get the rest of that land since over a month. So they were playing cat and mouse game. So I'm trying to find out what because Patches, let me say it very clear. Me no want no relocation. Me children me want no relocation. Reasons being, we get that land to do business because we are business people. Reggie is also a businessman, which I don't have any problem with him. But you can't take away my land to give to Patches because you are a businessman. What happened? We are business people too. The two in the same field, we are business people. So at the moment, we are out in the wind where they have our cash. That's why I believe it works. They have our cash and we ain't have no access to the land. Okay. I am putting this on the record tonight, Patches.
Okay.
Because I've said it in a video before and I'll say it again. When Chesdo returned back to St. Kitts, I'm giving her 1 week to say to my sons why this happened and why she break the contract behind their back. No kind of consultation, no writing, nothing. Patches. Chesdo interfere with the wrong set of family. This is not threat. This is not threat. Because it will not done like this. They will have to compensate my children because I'm going to take them to the end.
Okay.
It is very hard for Patches because they give us the land to move vehicles from out of Wingfield Road. We have containers coming into St. Kitts within the next week or two. Where Patches, me don't say it, and me don't say it in a video, me going to say it. We're going to put the containers at Wingfield Road because we ain't going to know where to put them. She come tell me she forward this, Chesdo, that she made to understand I buy private land down in the Sandy Point area. And I have it in writing, you know. I have it in writing because she wrote me a letter with it, which she forward this. I buy private land for Aston Quaker. But I bought that land for Astawaki Quaker and Asnell Quaker. My land ain't got no connection with Astawaki Quaker and Asnell Quaker.
Okay.
It's two separate things. two separate things. Come telling me she forward out of place business, but I could utilize my land down there. She forward. Trez, when you get back here, get this thing straight within 1 week, or hello, I'm not afraid to take on the government. I am not afraid to take on you and the government. I want it resolved, and it must resolve in my children's interest. Remember those words. It must resolve in my children's interest. You can't be taking my money and your enough land is crown land and no crown land. I give it back to somebody because there's a business person. Well, what the hell? My children and my family, we are business people, Patrice. We are, and it hurt me very much, you know. But Patrice, one more minute. I am wondering. Remember, I say I'm wondering if it's our how to shut me up, because Patrice, I am very much into politics, and the whole world now asking Quokka support the PAM party. Whether they are think, they are float, I support the PAM party. So I wonder if it's a spite, Patrice. Why I say a spite? 2 weeks ago, I sent out a video where a gentleman, and in the video called his name, drew my attention to something, and he showed me a bag of stuff that was delivered at his home. The bag marker and Samuel Duggins. And he told me it's Samuel Duggins and the entourage bring them there.
Okay.
And because I sent out the video, I'm trying to figure in if they spite me.
Okay, got you.
One pack of lentils, one pack of rice, one tuna fish, one soap, one toilet paper, one key holder. Let me see where else I can remember half my brains.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, Patches,
Yes.
everything was one.
Okay.
And I remember they said that there's the A team. So I'm wondering if all these are ones Sam will get when he did exams. Because he got the most ones, one.
Okay, my brother. Okay, got you.
They ain't gonna rest there.
Okay.
I'm not after Samuel. I'm just saying about the video that I sent out where a gentleman drew to my attention. But this land thing, it's not going to rest there, Patches. I'm not going to take it like that.
Okay.
I may have to call you privately because I want to ask you for some assistance, not financially. And the assistance is, what's the name of the lawyer? I think it was from St. Lucia, who was on your case with the Attorney General. Patches, good night. Thank you.
Have a good night. I allowed my good friend Austin Coker to carry on. And they always more than one side to every story. Reggie has been having issues with the Sustainable Development Ministry. And I know I would have had his surveys done. Full disclosure, I saw some surveys as well in relation to the land, and I'm sure that this has to be sorted out, can be sorted out, and trust it will be sorted out sooner rather than later. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding.
Thank you, Brother Patches. Good night.
Good night, my brother.
And good night to all the listeners. Mr. Coker, yes, there are two sides to a story, but your statement is very touching. And if this work out to be true, you have all rights to sue your government. Sue that government, that administration, for a breach of contract and collateral damages, because they should know how to conduct themselves accordingly, especially when a deposit has been made according to the protocol moving forward. and they give that same piece of land. Plus, you are under pressure to move your vehicles and have nowhere to put them. And this is how they are treating you. That is absolutely unacceptable and wrong. To a businessman. And two businessmen shouldn't be caught up into this conflict. Because who is better than who? Both of you are businessmen, and I'm pretty sure you all will be giving jobs to people. So this need to rectify ASAP immediately. I condemn that wrongdoing. But I don't know when that started, that contract started, or binding. I don't know how long it's going to draw out. But you are the one to push this matter, and I hope you don't give up. So I encourage you, meet them to the end and match their energy 10 times exponentially. I will move forward. You see, there are so much corruption in our country. That's why we need this change. But the Constitution says 5 years. But I believe the Constitution should be amended, because sometimes when the governments are put in charge to take care of the people's business, they have misrepresentation with corruption. And I remember I was in that House of Parliament to listen the amendment to the corruption bill. And look at that. And what they are doing, they are just speaking, they are just talking, but for poor people, they throw the book. But for themselves, nothing. They are above the law, and they are themselves are above the country. Well, hell no! Change the government when the time comes. People, do not be misled. Do not be persuaded as for quid pro quo. The little money that these encumbrant are offering, tell them take it and stick it up. You don't need it. It's a trap to put them back in to continue their wicked regime. We don't need that. We need good people. I must say, moving forward, congratulations to Spuddy. The first time I listened, I heard him. I just heard about him. Spuddy, congratulations. I endorse you based on your speech, your presentation this morning. You perform immaculately. You have my support, Spuddy. I know. Yes, you are from PLP. I don't endorse any party, but I endorse individual when I think they have a vision for the country and good doings moving forward. Thank you, Patches. I'll leave the rest of the time for others to come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night to Ian Patches, but good night.
Mr. Politics, good night, sir. What's up?
You know, first, I always want to give God thanks for life. And give God thanks for a blessed country. He blessed us with. Patches, but you know, the people of this country, I hope they stop, look, and listen, and hear and see what is going on. With these evildoers, they vote into government. Patches, when I listen them, I just want to know if they're speaking about a next country or something else back in Dr. Simmons' time when I listen to them. Because Patches, let me tell you something. All of us once know Young people is the main gender in this country for them people who neglect young people when they get in first. When young people was getting this and when young people was getting that under different under the unity administration, they will ramp it from them. All this going to be the program where they get from development bank. They will ramp it from them, kill them. And then come and talk about young people. It ain't young people were doing this business. It is young people, the former Prime Minister Dr. House was trying to empower to get them to do a business for themselves. He says they got to go out there and work for people and get nothing. Such as it's a shame and a disgrace when I listen to some people on the palm side talking about the farmer unity government with Dr. House as the leader. Suppose they try and prop up the man for the things them here done with the unity government. That is everybody will fall, everybody get a disappointment with whatever happened. But the people to sink it when wrong. And this line, Dr. Joe administration. And the doctor for 20 years was sinking place with our CBI program. Our CBI program money in some other country, Dubai or wherever, all kind of fake investors come in our country, get all kind of underhand deal with our CBI money for 20 years. And people are struggling still. And trying to about books and all kind of thing. But you don't believe if you think if the CBI program for the 20 years, the farmer leader for labor was in, and that money will work out for these people. They come and talk about that, but you say they like hand-feed people. They like slave, they like enslaved people. They'll give parents and give them that and give them that and give them the other. They like enslaved people, this labor administration. Like got people poor. I want people to be poor, to hand out to them. But let me tell you something, huh? They better wait the hand and wait for the new administration to come in. Where there's going to be unity with PAM, PLP, with NRP, or whatever, we will endorse it again because we cannot see our country go under this lying, wicked administration the people and put into government. People got to stand up and face reality. We got to stand up and face reality, Patrick. We see that Dr. Howe's intention was under unity banner for the people of this country. Whether you're from Sinkit, whether you're from Jamaica, whether you're from wherever, everybody was getting something in their hand. And I come out about people like handout. We're coming close to election now, handout, doggy. Handout. But people are better stop, look and listen. Because this Labour administration, they fail, and the fraud, and the fake. That is a wonderful night. If I get back.
Have a wonderful night as well, Mr. Politics. Always very assertive with his politics. Mr. Liebert reads this email. Last week, you read an email concerning Tony Fredericks Armstrong and a post she made calling on the Prime Minister to ring the bell. Now Pam is in disarray. I too read her post, and though the same as the emailer did, don't tell me. She's forgotten that Labour has always branded her as a Pam and Win FM a Pam radio station. Well, my dear Tony, once Labour branded you Pam, you'll always be a Pam for them. And you will never get that brand erased. I don't know if you are getting something under the table for you to make that ridiculous post favoring the Labour Party government. You see, money make the mayor go. It also causes one to renege on their moral standards and principles. Is it any wonder the scripture declared the love of money is the root of all evil? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Mr. Liebert,
my dear.
I was in town, in Charlestown this morning, and I passed by the abandoned police station. And it's a shame what I saw. Wild tamarind trees and the dry palm tree in the front of the building. It's a shame because all that Mark is thinking about is destiny. Mark not thinking about Nevis. He don't love Nevis. All he think about is getting rich for him and his family, that they could run out of Nevis. Nevis people need to open up their eyes and see what's going on. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening. Yes, and that Brantley household stands to benefit millions, almost $100 million from that Destiny project and that real estate deal. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Hey, Patches, good evening, man.
Good evening, my brother.
I just want to make a pretty good. I just want to make a general statement, and it's going to go like this. The Labour Party is not the only party that can run St. Kitts and Nevis political affairs. As old as they are, it's time to pass the torch to the younger generation. The young people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm encouraging them to get involved in the political affairs of their country. There's a lot of Ulsters in the mix that don't want to give up the torch. They're blocking up spaces. We have qualified students that has gone away to college and is back in the Federation. And we need our qualified young persons to make their contribution to the country. This country above self. Time it seems like they might be down, but I'm happy as our gums, and I think that lady, Miss Morton, were able to make their rounds yesterday on Win FM and on Freedom FM in the afternoon, and they assured the public that PAM is operational. The electorates will make their marks when the next election comes up. And what I'm encouraging the opponents to the Juliet administration, who's the incumbent, is to know that you guys got to be in it to win it. Do not let certain persons come on here and control the narrative. Patches, I'm hearing some persons coming forward now. I haven't heard them before. I've just recently heard a particular person who's on the airwaves now trying to control the narrative, trying to support this Juliet administration who appears to be a failure. We're not saying that there's nothing that they didn't do good. Of course, there are lots of stuff that they did good. But all of the opponents got to realize, do not let these persons control the narrative and keep pushing the fact that this government have failed in certain areas. Keep highlighting those areas. And lastly, Patches, to the people in the diaspora, whether you're getting a free ticket or not, we too got to take the ride down and put our mark where it is so deserving of. Country above self, Patches. And I'll leave it there for the night. Thanks a lot, Patches, man.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Always for your contributions. Dr. Harris reads this email. Every now and then, the Premier has been saying that Taiwan was given the Federation a substantial sum of money every year, and you kept all for St. Kitts. And only when Drew brought it to his attention was the first time he knew about it. Well, the first thing, I don't believe anything Mark says, so I have known him to be a very dangerous, compulsive liar. And the way he outlined the matter, saying, Drew, say, Premier, do you know about this grant Taiwan has been given us? And he said, no. And Drew said, well, here is some for you. So, Dr. Harris, please clarify this matter, for Mark has set out to destroy your political career with his lies. And if the Taiwanese has been given this money since 1983 to the Federation, and he only knew about it when Drew told him 4 years ago, it only proved how incompetent he is, because all grants and loans are published in the Director of Audit's reports each year. So, Dr. Harris, I want to hear from you. Yes, they are published, that's correct. In addition, he mentioned some 8 million US. I think it's 3 million US they get annually as a Taiwanese grant. 3 million US. Only that. Tell you the truth. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
A blessed good evening to you.
A blessed evening, my dear. I see those dimples. I am peaceful. You?
I'm giving God thanks.
Okay.
Yes. But you want to know why the country so broke.
Yes.
Well, they have a lot of things that is so broke, you know.
Like?
All the jets and the plane were coming from Nigeria.
The private jets, yeah.
Private jet and all sort and all going with more load of people. And up to now, the people in come back, you know, hear them again work because you know go and go study, no job and nothing at all. So that's the reason why. And you talk to me? You say something?
I was going to say, sorry to interrupt you. Adam says it's $600,000 US for a charter.
Right.
A charter to Nigeria, you know. $600,000 US.
Right.
The loudest.
And remember, yes. And every minute they can plane gone over there. Some of them definitely they can't go in a small hotel. They want the expensive hotel to go in. All them they make a country broke. They got people. They must pay people go on and walk and tell them a load of lie for them and what's not. So all that make the country broke. Some of them are walk and you not hear nothing. You not hear nothing from the radio about them. But them a get paid. And the name need to come out. I just hear some name call. And I would like to know how much they getting. How much money they working for because they name a call. And nobody else hear nothing. Secret. This country is not too much a secret and too much a lie. And every time they always walk a call, Harris not in government now. Harris was in government and Harris went and Harris do well, and have everybody was smiling. But now, you see them on top of the road and you want to know if they got dead, sick, and what's not because they can't smile because nothing they to smile about. Let the ease up of Harris. Harris was a good man. A lot of them out there talk about Harris. They worse than Harris. We just waiting for the wind to blow and hoist up the feather. And then you're going to know how good they be. They're better than Harris. You know, giving us all of the things about Harris. And you know, you see who is the bad man? You see who is the bad man? The lawyer, the one up there. He him last night, I walk and tell my lawyer, lawyer. That's the reason why the country can't go no more. Because they tell too much lawyer. The ease of Harris, you out there walk a call up Harris there, maybe minute Harris not in government. When Harris been in there, you could have smile. And now why you can't smile? Are you afraid to talk? You're better than Harris. Leave Harris alone. It's going to be Harris again. Kamezi is voting for Harris. Patches, have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear. Yes, you've said it right. And you know, they made some good money, you know. For instance, one former Attorney General, Delano Bart, this is what he got from the SID, $3 million. Look at it, $3 million. Michael Martin, and you can see for the services he provides, legal services, that's all, legal services over a period of time. Michael Martin, who they brought back for the CIU, and he too, Martin Consulting and Management Caribbean Financial associates. And look at it. Michael Martin was paid approximately $2.8 million for secretary fees. Well, that's a good salary. And you heard about Terence Crosban, $2 million, $90,000 a month. This is where our money going. This is where why the country is so broke. Caller, thank you for holding your line. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah. They just gone in and they wasn't going to take one load of raise. And they don't go do nothing yet. One load of raise.
I didn't realize you're.
Yes, that is.
I didn't realize you're still on the line.
You go ahead. Have a blessed night.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize you're still on the line, my dear. I'm sorry about that. But let's read this email. I agree with Gaston Brown. Reads this email. These judges believe they are gods and only accountable to the OECS courts, but their decisions affect the people. Brown also disclosed a 56-year-old man raped a 12-year-old and got a 3-year sentence. In St. Lucia, a judge said the government tried to influence a case involved the leader of the opposition and was transferred to Grenada instead of investigating the matter. The No Bar Association or any leader made any comments. They are all hypocrites. They are not the people. The judges are public servants. The leaders select them, we pay them. We have the right to expose and remove them. I have no pity or mercy for rapists and murderers, and judges should be the same. I support Gaston Brown. Wow, that's what Straight Talk is all about. You're entitled to your views, but there ought to be a separation of powers. Caller, you're live. Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, I'm here giving God thanks.
Like one's aunt. Yes, I recognize your voice.
Yes. I thank God for you, and I thank God for that little place that you opened that everybody around the world could hear people's view in this country of St. Kitts. Mr. Liebert, you know we have a Corbyn government, right?
What?
A Corbyn government.
COVID. No.
Remember we had Corbyn, but this is another one come.
Oh, COVID. Okay.
The Labour government is a Corbyn government.
Okay.
And you there?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand you, but go ahead.
Yes, my friend Judah today bring it to me. He tried to me. He said, Jen, you know, we have a Corbyn government. I said, oh my God, you is so right, my boy. You is so right.
Are you there? Oh, what is this? My dear friend Kalaikwan's aunt seemed to have a problem. Each time we just lose her, phone drops out. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. But we don't control that here on Straight Talk. But here's what, let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Mr. Live, but I get cut off. I don't know why when I in my talk with you.
You don't.
At Thursday and Monday night you get cut off. I have to check out my phone.
You don't get cut off, your phone drop out.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I listened to the speech today that the Prime Minister sent over in the news, thanking all the children them to pass their exam. I wonder in God's creation world this Thursday night, I am here on the land of the living. If we have work for those young people to do and to get, because all those people who are in government work, all the middle-aged people, they need to go home and give the young man and the young woman them who leave school, who have the education, who have the subject, give them work. The young woman them won't have to go out on the street, get pregnant, young. The young man them won't have to smoke, mash up the stomach, reach in the prison, and reach inside the dead back. I hope he find work for them to do. And this 250 when he say he give parents to go back to school, he ain't shame and scandals in his family.
not in his family, in his government tonight. Shame and scandals. All we're gone in India is to reap the fruit of labor. Labor do not care nothing about nobody. They don't care if you're hungry, you're dead, or you're alive, or you stand up. They do not care nothing about nobody in this country. People of St. Kitts and Nevis, whenever he ring the bell, are you don't let him fool are you, and go back and put him in there, Take where he are you and watch him to hell out. I take me 2 years here and say, the same thing I will put him in there. And the same thing of could take him out. The same thing is in Pantimati, he coming back to haunt them. Because they do not know what they're doing, and they cannot run any country, Mr. Lloyd. But me tell you tonight, everybody is crying for how Dr. Joe and his cabal have this country here running. They're not running in the right direction. Things is not going good. Things is not going well. They need to pack up and go and tell us that well, enough is enough. They had enough of people tax money. What happened to the passport money? What happened to the CPI money? What happened to all of that kind of money there? No money in the country now because he and the cabal them don't dry the well. So no money in the place now. Okay. Business place open, the state got people going inside the go boy. School can soon open. I'm sure that the parents ain't gonna get $1 to well give the children them something good money. Tell me hope he give the children them good hot lunch. Okay. The post office moved down and rotten down all nothing time we say doing this country, but Timothy coming knock back up stronger than ever. And my representative tonight is Miss Cedar Isle. She is my representative, and I'm going to make sure I undertrain. You have a good night, Mr. Loibert, and you get home safe. Love you.
Thanks so much. Love you more, my dear. Thanks a lot. Always so passionate. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding you alive. Hello,
yes,
caller.
Thank you again, Brother Patches. Introduction of your perspective. The government is broke. Let's be real, Patches. Who make the government broke? Who control the treasury? Who can put their hand in the cookie jar of the treasury whenever they need to? Who is spending? Who is procuring? Are they dead or are they alive? And if you could say they are alive, that is where the money trail is. Anything goes in and out the treasury or the cookie jar, so to speak. There must be a financial trail. Or else, if there are none, or they digging a hole and going into the vault and just hike the money, so there might not be no trail. There are trail. And those who are doing these damages, they are alive. But I can say this to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts. If you, St. Kitts and Nevis, if you are concerned about being broke, we have to find a way to undo that. When the Labour administration, who are currently running the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, when they get that sledge, or that axe, or that saw, and I'm coming with a happy sidekick right to the ribs.
Okay.
We are not going to let them get out of the Federation of St. Kitts.
Okay.
We're going to hold them accountable, and we're going to take away their passport.
Okay.
And issue a mandate that they can't leave the country,
okay,
because they are interested in a critical matter.
Okay,
where our money is. We want back.
Okay, got you loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank you. Got you loud and clear, my brother. Thank you. We go back to the lines. A caller, thank you for holding you alive.
Mr. Liebert, I heard the CCM said that they're going from door to door. I'm going to say this to them tonight. Don't come at my door because I don't want to see them. I already knew who they are and they can't fool me because I'm not stretching out my hand to anybody so they can't fool me. Tell them I'm voting for NRP. Don't come to me door because I'm going to embarrass them. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. You heard that, Brantley? Don't go by that lady's door. I want to bring something. Let's take this call. I'll get back to that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, we seem to have missed that call. Let's take this email. I want to bring something to your attention for discussion on your program. SKN Watchdog, a Facebook blogger and social media page, has been following up on Dr. Drew's administration's much hyped JAD back to school assistance, and what we have encountered on the ground raises some uncomfortable questions. SKN Watchdog also witnessed recipients in Basti attempting to use the assistance at the cashier, only to have transactions rejected with the message, insufficient funds. This is not simply something being repeated on social media. We went into Basti to follow up and witness recipients encountering the problem. The obvious question is whether this is really just a technical glitch, as some supporters suggest, or whether there is actually a problem with the funds supposedly made available to the recipients. Could a payment system show insufficient funds if the money is properly sitting in the account? And if the government says the assistance has been approved, why are parents reaching the cashier only to discover that they cannot access it? There is also a bigger economic question. If the government is having difficulty meeting even these assistance obligations when they become due, what does that say about the state of the public finances? They're broke. Financial Secretary Carlton Puxton recently described the economy as being on a solid fiscal footing. If that is so, why are recipients encountering NSF or insufficient funds when they are attempting to access promised assistance? Perhaps this is something worth putting to the government on your program, reads this email. And this is our final email. Patches, it is over 4 years now, and we the people who don't support the worthless, vagabond government headed by July don't have a leader of the opposition to represent us. There's a guy who has been paraded as the leader of the opposition called Mark the Snake Brantley, who has been collecting money from our treasury without working for it, and it has been over 4 years now. Mark the Snake Brantley should be made to pay back all the money to the treasury and should not be allowed to hold public office ever again, for this is fraudulent and he's an imposter and also a greedy, worthless vagabond, reads this email. And my Straight Dog family, if you have reached me or connected tonight in a tardy manner, tonight we looked at the thesis which I've labeled or titled The Great Betrayal. 5 reasons why St. Kitts and Nevis is broke. And you yourselves gave me more reasons. But as we wind down tonight's programming, I also, and someone sent me 2 messages and wanted me to also address the issue as it relates to the geothermal and some reckless comments made by the Mark Snake Brantley. And I thank you for your commendation. But I spoke to Mark Brantley's latest attempt to rewrite the history of geothermal in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's not merely political opportunistic. It is, as I said, economically myopic and intellectually indefensible. And I raise the point as well that Brantley failed each time he addressed it. He failed to concede that in the cabinet, or the cabinet in which he sat, was his own premier, Vance Amory. And I must make the point that Vance Amory said this about the geothermal development. Because Mark brings this argument that collapses under the slightest examination. As I made the point that St. Kitts and Nevis are both volcanic islands, and the geothermal potential of both islands is a natural consequence of their volcanic geology. And Mark just seems to want to just advance this, what I call, tired argument about St. Kitts versus Nevis, when Emery himself was pragmatic. He advanced what I call pragmatic wisdom in stark contrast to Brantley's narrow political arguments. And I'm going to leave this with you. That's on your screens. And this is Vance Amory's clear position about geothermal development. And I read it for you before. I read what Vance Amory said. Look at the underline there in red. Vance Amory said that the recent memorandum of understanding between St. Kitts and Nevis and a French company to explore energy in St. Kitts did not mean that the move would be detrimental to Nevis, as the island is 2 years ahead in terms of exploration. However, Mr. Amory stated that the explorations in St. Kitts would instead be a complementary development, and both would be able to provide a larger resource to a larger demand marketplace. Isn't that pragmatic? My Straight Dog family, Mark Brantley, from ever since he came on the scene, has been practicing what I call the tired politics of St. Kitts versus Nevis. Let's move on past that, man. Let's move on past that. And I strongly believe it's time we don't want no 110 where St. Kitts can separate. No. We want Nevis to take no 113, beg your pardon. We want a permanent federation. We want permanence. Take out the 113. Let's live together as one. I'm a Nevis man born in St. Kitts. I told someone today. I want the bridge to be constructed so we can drive over to Nevis. Even when I finish the show at 10 o'clock, I drive over to Nevis, have a cocktail in Nevis, and come back home. That is what we want. But my Straight Talk family, the island is broke, like I said. Broke like a church mouse. That's what the army say? Is that what the army say? I hope so. But we need to understand that we are standing at a critical crossroads, and the truth can no longer be whispered in the shadows. It must be shouted from all corners of the Federation. And as my quotation is said, that was how this honesty and betrayal started. Not in big lies, but in small secrets. We don't want no secrets. We want full transparency. Your pockets don't lie. Your empty water pipes don't lie. Your grocery bills don't lie. So strip away propaganda and deal with the raw, factual, and damning reasons why this reckless administration has left St. Kitts and Nevis broke. Yes, CBI is dead. Yes, we used to be tied to this critical source of revenue. It's no longer there. Look at how the reckless, unexecuted vanity spending that began the moment these incompetent bunch of leaders or politicians, I should say, joined the cabinet. The fiscal trajectory under Jew administration faced immediate scrutiny following its ascent to power in 2022. We can't take it no longer, my straight dog family. We can't take it any longer. We can't take this betrayal. Christopher Harbour promised to put $17 billion in the economy. All sorts of promises coming from Destiny. We can't take this no longer. My straight dog family, we were promised a paradise. We were promised a premier luxury destination that would generate $17 billion in revenue and transform the Southeast Peninsula forever. Buddy Darby sold over 107 lots or 105 lots at an average of $1 million per lot. He has made over $100 million in land sales, yet he can't pay $16 million to the bank and $16 million to SIDF. Where is the money? He got 107 lots at $1 million US per lot. Over $100 million US in land sales. But he walked away with the National Bank money and walked away with the SIDF money. $32 million US of public capital completely frozen and lost in an incomplete luxury playground for the ultra-rich while you struggle to pay your monthly electricity bills. And so too, they want a destiny where they lock you out in your own land, my straight dog family. But we cannot allow that to happen. We must not allow that to happen, my straight dog family. We cannot. We cannot allow what's happening to continue. Let us take control of our country. Take control of our country now. Now, my straight dog family, we have to take control of our beloved land. And I have highlighted tonight what can only be described as a great betrayal. And we pin down 5 major reasons why St. Kitts and Nevis finds itself in such a precarious financial position. And, like you proved it, they were not exhaustive. They were simply the most glaring symptoms of a deeper crisis of governance, accountability, fiscal discipline, and political judgment. But where do we go from here is a question I ask. That is a question every citizen must be asking now. The situation becomes even more troubling when we listen to the political rhetoric coming from the very people who helped to shape the country's present circumstances. Only recently, you heard the snake from across the Narrows confess that CBI is dead.
CBI as we know it is dead. I really do regret saying that, but that is my conclusion.
That's everybody's conclusion. If the citizenship by investment program is indeed dead, or even substantially diminished, then the question becomes, what is the government's plan for replacing the billions in revenue that CBI once generated? Yes, we can recover all those monies in those accounts, those bank accounts, my Straight Talk family. Recover those monies. Sometime we'll talk more about that. Lescan spoke about that. And perhaps that explains the desperation. If CBI is dead, why is there an urgency to find another massive vehicle for citizenship sales over there in Destiny? If the traditional CBI model is no longer sustainable, are we simply preparing to repeat the same mistakes under another name? And if Destiny is being presented as the answer to Nevis' economic future, where is a comprehensive national conversation? Is demographic, environmental, infrastructural, and financial consequences? These are not partisan questions. They are questions of national survival. My Straight Talk family, we cannot build our future on uncertainty. We cannot, my Straight Talk family, with these dwindling revenues, rising expenditure, mounting debt, and the hope for another development will somehow rescue the treasury. Oh no. The truth, my Straight Talk family, is if CBI is dead, the reckoning is not tomorrow. The reckoning is here. And if we refuse to confront the reasons that brought us to this point, we will continue to chase one temporary solution after another, while the foundations of the Federation become increasingly unstable. The questions are now unavoidable. The answers cannot be postponed, and the people deserve to know exactly how we got here. People need to know about the great betrayal and the reasons, the 5 reasons why St. Kitts Nevis is broke. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I will thank Almighty God for guiding our program tonight. As always, I thank you, the many viewers, those who sent emails, those who called. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Patches, the question why the government forcing police officers to work until they're 62 years. They are saying if you get promoted to inspector, you automatically sign out or sign on to work until 62 years. That is wrong, people. People should be allowed to leave when they are ready. That is a consequence we face when they misuse the money. Reads our final email. But my Straight Talk family, until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Have yourself a wonderful weekend and be good to all whom you meet. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow, down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray with my heart and soul. Beg him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep